All who enter the White Yang path to cultivate the way must first kneel sincerely before the lotus throne of Mingming Shangdi, making heartfelt vows. Only then may they receive the guidance of an enlightened master and embark upon the path of cultivation. Therefore, the 10 great vows are, for White Yang disciples, a crucial test by the heavenly Tao to determine whether one is truly sincere in practice. Below is an explanation of the essential meaning of each of the 10 great vows, offered for the reference of White Yang disciples. Sincere preservation. Cultivation of the Tao values sincerity above all. Those of superior capacity, upon hearing the great Tao, accept it wholeheartedly and preserve it firmly, never forgetting it even for a moment. This is the simple meaning of sincere preservation. People of superior roots encounter the true Tao and practice the way of non-attachment with a mind free of clinging. They cultivate diligently and unceasingly, remain consistent from beginning to end, are not lost in favorable circumstances, and do not waver when tested by adversity. Those of medium capacity cultivate with humility and sincerity, strive to do good, avoid evil, and practice steadily and realistically. Those of lesser capacity do not pursue empty reputation, do not go through the motions, and do not deceive perfunctorily. With genuine earnestness and fear of self-deception or deceiving others, they fulfill the vow of sincere preservation. Genuine repentance. One should constantly maintain awareness, illuminating the darkness of ignorance within. Delusive thoughts arise like clouds and disperse at once, without obscuring one's true nature. When faults are recognized, one courageously corrects them. When something is known to be wrong, one resolutely cuts it off. This is the simple meaning of genuine repentance. People of superior roots abide in no mind and no thought, giving rise to no discrimination, no deviant views, no delusive or evil thoughts. This itself is genuine repentance. People of medium roots do not conceal their faults, constantly reflect on themselves, and reform sincerely. People of lesser roots, when they unknowingly err and are corrected by others, are able to turn toward goodness with sincerity, disregarding false pride and taking the courage to admit and correct mistakes. Eliminating hypocrisy, all confusion and ignorance, being unable to see one's inherent Buddha nature, unable to recognize one's true mind, and unable to give rise to wisdom, are forms of hypocrisy. Thus, people of superior roots should constantly use prajna wisdom to subdue deviant mental states. People of medium roots should eliminate inconsistency between words and actions, and eradicate saying one thing while meaning another. People of lesser roots should put an end to drifting along under the name of cultivation or putting on a false appearance. In this way, this great vow is fulfilled. Retreating and failing to advance. If people of superior roots do not diligently cultivate, failing in perseverance, patience, moral discipline, generosity, and wisdom, this is retreating and failing to advance. If people of medium roots cannot withstand various tests and trials, and fail to truly practice their vows or complete their mission, this is retreating and failing to advance. If people of lesser roots begin diligently but later grow lax, advancing and retreating inconsistently, with their aspiration for the Tao coming and going, this is retreating and failing to advance. Betraying the teacher and patriarchs. If people of superior roots cannot comprehend the intent of the patriarchs, cannot realize the true meaning of the great Tao, and cannot proclaim the truth on behalf of heaven, this is betraying the teacher and ancestors. If people of medium roots abandon the lineage transmitted by an enlightened master and turn to other sects, this is betraying the teacher and ancestors. If people of lesser roots fail to respect the initiating master, lecturers, or sponsoring guarantors, or violate the heavenly mandate, this is betraying the teacher and ancestors. Disrespecting predecessors. If people of superior roots cannot inherit the past, open the future, continue the torch of truth, and shoulder the mission of the sages and worthies, this is disrespecting predecessors. If people of medium roots cannot carry forward the aspirations of their predecessors or fulfill the instructions entrusted to them, such as propagating the Tao and spreading moral teachings, this is disrespecting predecessors. If people of lesser roots are arrogant, self-important, disrespectful, and disobedient toward elders and seniors, this is disrespecting predecessors. Not observing Buddhist regulations. If people of superior roots allow their thoughts, intentions, actions, and daily conduct to deviate from the balanced middle way, this is not observing Buddhist regulations. If people of medium roots do not observe the 5 constant virtues and the 5 precepts, or do not practice the 10 wholesome deeds and 8 virtues, this is not observing Buddhist regulations. If people of lesser roots create noise in the Buddha hall, dress improperly, or lack decorum and etiquette, this is not observing Buddhist regulations. Revealing heavenly secrets. If people of superior roots speak when they should not, speak to inappropriate persons, or reveal profound and subtle principles before the proper time or before conditions have matured, this is revealing heavenly secrets. If people of medium roots casually make public the inner methods of the three treasures, this is revealing heavenly secrets. If people of lesser roots disclose the names or contents of the three treasures in writing or speech to those who have not yet received the transmission, this is revealing heavenly secrets. Concealing the Tao and failing to manifest it. If people of superior roots cannot remain unchanged while responding to changing conditions, cannot use constancy to meet all transformations, and fail to manifest the spirit of great compassion arising from non-duality and great mercy without conditions, this is concealing the Tao and failing to manifest it. If people of lesser roots cannot guide and transform others or encourage people to turn toward the Tao, this is concealing the Tao and failing to manifest it. Failing to exert one's full capacity. If people of superior roots cannot eliminate habitual tendencies and karmic offenses, sever afflictions and ignorance, break attachments to self and to the Dharma, and realize ultimate reality, this is failing to exert their full capacity. If people of medium roots cannot see through emotional attachments, cling to fame and profit as if life itself, waste time, seek complacent ease, and miss precious opportunities, this is failing to exert their full capacity. If people of lesser roots use various excuses, claiming difficulty or busyness, having no time to listen to the Tao, cultivate or serve the Tao, seldom drawing near to the Tao hall or fellow practitioners, and neglecting prostration and incense offering, this is failing to exert their full capacity. These 10 great vows are the solemn oaths that White Yang disciples should sincerely make before heaven when seeking the Tao. One must understand that after making vows, they must be put into practice. Only by practicing vows can true cultivation be guided, only by fulfilling vows can the true Tao be accomplished. However, since disciples differ in spiritual capacity and depth of realization, their levels of cultivation and enlightenment naturally vary. Practitioners of the Tao everywhere may carefully reflect upon the above, open the eye of great vows, and put into practice the true meaning of these great vows.
虚怀若谷，兮圣明，心放魔生，理无穷。虚怀若谷，兮圣明，虚怀若谷。Empty-minded and humble like a valley. This phrase originates from Taoist and Confucian classics, such as the Tao Te Ching. It means, having a humble and open heart, being modest, not arrogant, not self-satisfied, not clinging to one's own views, able to embrace all things and receive the true Tao Xi Shengming, aspiring towards sagely enlightenment. Xi here does not mean wishing others to be wise, but rather, admiring, aspiring toward, emulating the state of sagely wisdom it points to, learning from sages and saints, pursuing luminous virtue, wisdom, and awakening, aching the mind of the sage as the direction of life and cultivation. Here does not mean wishing others to be wise, but rather, admiring, aspiring toward, emulating the state of sagely wisdom it points to, learning from sages and saints, pursuing luminous virtue, wisdom, and awakening, aching the mind of the sage as the direction of life and cultivation. Meaning, if one can maintain a humble, open, and empty mind like a deep valley, one will naturally move towards sagely wisdom and illumination. 心放魔生，理无穷。心放, letting the mind run loose, refers to indulgence, laxity, and losing guardianship of the true mind. It does not mean letting go, but rather letting oneself drift. 魔生. Demons arise. Demons do not necessarily mean external spirits, but more often refer to greed, anger, and ignorance, delusive thoughts, ego attachment, selfish desires, emotions, habits, and biases. Once the mind loses right mindfulness, demonic tendencies naturally arise. 理无穷, endless distorted reasoning. Li refers to principle, reason, natural law, cause and effect. Endless here is not praise but indicates delusive reasoning, multiplying crooked justifications, arising endlessly, self-rationalization that grows the more one thinks. Combined meaning. Once the mind is indulged and unrestrained, demonic thoughts arise, and endless justifications, excuses, and afflictions follow without end. 2. Overall meaning, core interpretation. 虚怀若谷，兮圣明，心放魔，生理无穷. As a whole means, a cultivator who maintains humility and inner openness naturally approaches sagely wisdom, but if one indulges the mind and loses awareness, demonic thoughts arise, and afflictions and distorted reasoning multiply endlessly. Deeper meaning in the context of cultivation, especially relevant in the White Yang tradition. One sentence plain explanation. When the mind is humble and upright, wisdom naturally appears. When the mind is indulgent and unguarded, afflictions and demonic obstacles become endless. 假中求真真何在一寒千扇拨人风. This verse is also a cultivation aphorism warning verse, but it emphasizes practical cultivation and living the Tao even more strongly than the previous one. We again explain it through line-by-line combined meaning cultivation insight. Line-by-line explanation 假中求真真合在假 falsehood appearances in cultivation contexts. This often refers to external appearances, forms, labels hypocrisy or superficial compliance, surface-level cultivation, and verbal practice attachment to rituals, status, identity, or titles 求真. Seeking truth refers to seeking the true mind and original nature, the true Tao and real practice, genuine sincerity and authentic effort. Seeking truth refers to seeking the true mind and original nature, the true Tao and real practice, genuine sincerity and authentic effort. 真何在? Where can truth be? A rhetorical question with a warning tone. If one seeks truth within falsehood, how could truth possibly be found? Meaning, if one seeks truth amid falseness, appearances, and empty forms, how could true realization ever be attained? 一寒千扇拨人风, 一寒, contained within the heart, indicates genuine inner intent, not outward display or pretense. 千扇, turning toward goodness from the Book of Changes and the Analects. When one sees goodness, one moves toward it. When one has faults, one corrects them. It represents true self-correction and moral transformation. 拨人风, spreading the wind of benevolence, benevolent wind, refers to humaneness, moral influence, and upright energy. Spreading means natural influence, not deliberate preaching or display. Meaning, when the heart genuinely contains the intent to improve and correct oneself, benevolence naturally overall meaning core interpretation, 假中求真真何在? 一寒千扇拨人风 means, if one merely clings to formality and hypocrisy while seeking truth, the result will be emptiness. Only sincere inner transformation and real self-correction allow true virtue to naturally influence others. One-line insight truth is not found in form, but in correction of faults. Virtue does not rely on words, but flows naturally from sincere inner transformation. Plain summary in one sentence: truth cannot be found in false appearances. Only sincere self-improvement and turning toward goodness naturally transform others. If you wish, I can also polish this into a formal English study handout, condense it into a short quotation-style translation, adapt it for interfaith or academic readers, or align it more explicitly with White Yang, Yuguando terminology.